Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mark It Down podcast, where if you're tired from wrestling, I don't blame you. This was 3 hours of AEW, and while it was great, dynamites and collisions, oh my, in the same night can be a little exhausting. But we got a pay-per-view this weekend, so it was worth it. Let's talk about all the chaos.
My back hurts.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Hey, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Mark It Down podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, joined on this very late night by James Asante and one of his cats. Back here once again to review another episode of AEW, but this time it was the 3-hour extravaganza that was September to remember, all the way out in the good land of Canada. As we say hello to Tyler. What's going on, dude?
What up, Tyler?
Here on the show tonight. Glad you stayed up with us for all 3 hours of this insane show. And there's a lot to cover, so we're going to jump right into it as we kick things off tonight with the contract signing for Hangman Adam Page versus Kyle Fletcher for the AEW Men's World Championship at All Out this Saturday. So we had Toni Schiavone in the ring as our MC, and he brings out first Hangman Adam Page and then Kyle Fletcher with that carny piece of shit, Don Callis. And it's Don who starts things off by cutting off Mr. Schiavone and telling Hangman that he remembers when Page stole the title from him when he beat his weakling friend Kenny Omega. But now Don says he has found someone bigger, faster, and stronger who is going to take the belt and bring it home to the family. Hangman just basically ignores him and addresses Kyle, telling him that he's glad that they agree that Kyle doesn't need any help, especially since everyone is tired of half the roster interfering in all the championship matches anyway.
I loved it. It was so meta in like the best way. Great comment. Great line.
He's not wrong. Page also said that he wants the family to stay in the back because he sees in Kyle someone the entire roster can look up to in the future. But Kyle needs to prove that he's worthy of it by winning the title on his own. Hanger then reveals that in the contract, it says that if Don or any member of the family interfere, not only will Kyle forfeit the match, but he will also be stripped of the TNT Championship as well. Now, Don apparently didn't know this because he started going apeshit, but Kyle holds him back and then asks Heyman if he thinks that scares him, saying that he would crawl through a mile of shattered glass just to get the championship. And knowing Hangman Adam Page, he actually might make Fletcher do that.
I love the line because he was saying you could have put anything in this contract and I would have accepted.
Yeah.
It shows how hungry he is. And I love that line.
So even though Hangman has it in writing that the family cannot interfere, it doesn't matter because he is the best wrestler to ever step in an AEW ring. And he's going to fulfill his destiny by becoming the AEW Men's World Champion. Kyle says that he is better than Hangman was in 2019 when Page first won the title. He's better than Hangman was in 2021 when he won when he first challenged for the title. And then he was better than Hangman in 2021 when he first won the title. And he is better than Hangman now during his second reign.
My God, this kid was on fire.
He is so good. AEW no longer needs Hangman Adam Page or Kenny Omega for that matter, as we already took Page out.
Too far.
It needs the Proto Star, and then Kyle goes and signs the contract before sliding it over to Hangman. Hangman says that the thing Kyle doesn't know is what the morning after is going to feel like when he loses, because it is going to crush him after he gives everything to win the title and it's not enough. And Hangman says that he knows this from a place where he's actually experienced it before. And what Kyle does with that feeling in the days and weeks and months to follow will define him. And Page tells Kyle not to disappoint him before signing the contract himself. Giovanni then tries to wrap things up, but Fletcher cuts him off. Or Toni getting cut off, saying hopefully by now Hangman knows he's a man of his word, as he's agreed to no physicality here at the contract signing and for no members of the Don Callis family to be at the ring on Saturday. But he is going to leave All Out with the AEW Men's World and the TNT Championships. And tonight, he is going to leave with Hangman bloodied, battered, and bruised. So, James, as you were saying, Fletcher really brought it tonight. But I really liked what Hangman said this evening, where he was able to kind of look at Fletcher. And it's something Hangman's talked about before, where he sees a lot of himself early in his AEW career in Fletcher, where he's not quite ready. But then, so when Kyle loses, he's got to take a better path than Hangman did when he lost to Jericho back in the beginning of AEW, because for those who don't remember, Hangman kind of went on a binge for a while and was drinking every week. And yeah, it did lead him to the AEW World Tag Team Championships, but it also led him to losing, his best friends and being thrown out the Elite and so on and so forth. So I like where Hangman was coming from, that telling Fletcher, it's like, you're going to lose and you're going to feel like shit. And you got to you either take that and you sink further into it, or you could take that and become even better. And it's very interesting to see, assuming Fletcher loses, which I think he will, where Kyle goes and uses with that feeling following Saturday night.
So I think the big similarity between these two, and it's something that Tyler wrote here, Kyle Fletcher is the future of AEW. I think the big thing here is expectations. There were expectations of Hangman from day one, day zero in AEW. They put him in a world title match with Chris Jericho. They had him teaming with Kenny Omega. He was obviously a part of the Elite. He was in top tier storylines from the very first episode of Dynamite. And eventually he got there. And I think that's what that's where the similarities are for Kyle Fletcher. There are undoubtedly sky high expectations for this kid now. This kid, Tyler here, this kid's the future of AEW. They're saying it in these promos. Oh, you remind me of me. Hangman Adam Page, AEW World Champion, 2-time AEW World Champion. You remind me of a young me. It's going to happen eventually. The expectations are so high, and he's constantly been delivering, and he's constantly been getting better. He's constantly evolving. And the only person in the world who seems to not be able to see it is Stevie Richards for some reason. But my God, Fletcher has evolved. He has, we've joked about the nickname. We've talked about him, what he is, the proto star, not porn star, proto star. But we're getting to a point that it's just going to be star. We're getting to a point where win, lose, or draw come Saturday, this has every opportunity to be a star-making performance for Fletcher. And that's not to take away from his other star-making performances that he's had this year alone. Will Ospreay winning the TNT title in a great match against Dustin Rhodes, handling the very clear audible at All In like a professional. This kid is carrying himself like a star. He's being presented like a star. Proto is good. Like we used to say, when is Brock going to be the big thing? He's the next big thing. When is he the thing? I don't think this kid's going to be a proto star for much longer. I think he's just going to be a star soon.
Yeah, there is so much young talent in AEW, and we've always looked at a lot of the guys, and a lot of them are established now. You look at like Darby, MJF, and so on, where they're still very young, and we're like, oh yeah, they're the future. But it's almost to a point where that they're the present, and Kyle's the one rising up. And you talk about an audible. This was reportedly supposed to be Wardlow.
I don't want to get into it.
And I know you're disappointed, and the guy has terrible luck with injuries, but Kyle has very seamlessly stepped in and been able to take the ball and run with it, and had some great promos with Hangman. He very clearly is on par with Hangman on the mic, as we saw this evening. So he's been able to just take this and really thrust himself into a position where, yes, you're right, they're going to have to drop the Proto soon because he is just a star.
I all joking aside, with Wardlow, who we are wishing a very speedy recovery to, we hope he's going to be okay. I love Wardlow. I've been on that train from a very early stop in his AEW career. And I would have loved to see him in such a big spot. But realistically, I think Fletcher being here adds so much more gravitas to the match. I think this guy who's been delivering week in, week out in AEW, him being in this spot that he's more or less earned this title shot, I think it makes the match feel bigger, because I love Wardlow. I like Wardlow, love Wardlow.
I'm a fan of Wardlow. It's one of those things where, like, I'm okay, like, when is it going to happen for him? And it's just, whether it's been the stuff that, kind of happened with MJF, the TNT title run wasn't the best, but I just feel like that was poorly booked, and now it's just injury after injury after injury.
I feel like every issue with Wardlow has never really been Wardlow's fault.
Yeah.
But for now, just sticking with Fletcher, I don't think there was ever even like a split second of, could Wardlow win this? Versus with Fletcher, they're giving me that second to, like, maybe. I know it's not going to happen, but maybe. Like, we compare him to young Randy Orton all the time for many reasons, both visually and character-wise. Randy won that World Heavyweight title very early.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
I mean, Tyler's out here imagining it, and they are definitely, making me pause and be like, well, maybe?
Right? Maybe.
But I don't think so.
I don't think so.
It would be wild.
But I didn't think Randy was going to be redacted for the title.
True.
So you never know. And we've talked about it. It's been a hot topic of discussion when it comes to AEW and its world title scenes, both men and women. There's no clear heir apparent to take the title off of either world champion, man or woman.
There's no clear heir apparent to take the title off of anybody right now.
So the fact that it's so open, why not shock the world?
You make a good argument.
I'm not rooting for it. I'm not rooting for Hangman to lose, because, quite frankly, I think his world title run needs more juice to it. But what's the worst that could happen here if Fletcher won it for a month?
I would think the downside would obviously be Hangman has then another, I guess, lackluster championship reign, right? A lot of people didn't love the first one. I know especially some of the guys here on the pod didn't like it and thought he should have lost the title very quickly that first time. But I think after everything that happened with his initial title run, especially there at the end, and then subsequently, the person who beat him and everything that happened with them, I do think that they want to give Hanger a much stronger and longer title run this time.
And I think so,
that would be my counter arguments to what you're saying about shocking the world.
And I think so too, but the one thing that I'm going to bring up, and I'm going to bring up two examples from WWE and two of their more prolific championship reigns in recent years. I don't necessarily think, if, let's say Hangman drops it to Fletcher on Saturday and then won it back 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later. Sure, there's going to be that little blip in the title reign. But unless he was going to break a record of some sort, I don't think it matters. And looking at, again, using WWE, some of their title reigns there. When Drew won the title at Mania and then ultimately lost it to Miz. I'm sorry. Miz via Bobby. Yeah, Drew lost it for like a month to Randy. But at the same time, I consider that the year of Drew.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter that Randy had it for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, whatever. That was Drew's year. And even Punk, his 434-day reign with the title years ago. We had that little blip where he had it and then dropped it to Del Rio.
Well, yeah, because he won the title from Cena, left, came back 2 weeks later, which was still so stupid. They should have waited like a month at least. And then they had the unification match. Punk beat Cena. Kevin Nash came out, beat up Punk. Del Rio cashed in. Then you had that triple threat, which I think got interrupted by The Miz and R-Truth and them getting arrested. And then eventually you had the Summer of Punk, and he didn't really have the title for that. And then he won the title and went on his historic reign.
And my point with all of that is,
I watch that once a year.
We remember that. We do remember that. But none of that nonsense in between winning the title at Money in the Bank and then like the real reign starting, none of that gets discussed in the same breath for normal people. The way just the Summer of Punk was.
Yeah.
So if Hangman loses the title to Fletcher for 2 to 3 weeks, wins it back, and then has like a good run with the belt for like 6 months, I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh my God, they dropped the ball on Hangman again. And again, I say all this knowing he's going to win. But if he does, maybe Fletcher wins.
It's
not the worst thing.
It is an interesting thought experiment.
Yes.
You make a lot of good points. Just to hit up some of the comments here as we say hello to You Know It. What's going on, man?
Know it.
Wake up, James.
I didn't know I was sleeping.
You were yawning when he wrote that.
Oh, was I?
Yes.
No, I was coughing. So, guys, I'm still very sick. So, if you see me go like this, I'm not yawning. I'm covering a cough.
And nobody meme it. Also, You Know It telling me Happy Canada Day. Yes, they were in Canada this evening, and I'm not going to be able to be here on Saturday to wear all the Toronto stuff. So, I figured I'd get through it now. Shout out my man, Vince Carter. And yes, I know they don't match, but, still Toronto. You Know It making a joke with the Proto star name. And also saying, good work to your production crew. I didn't even hear James's coughing spell. He's quick on the mute button. I've been watching him. The production crew is just us.
we had a producer boy, but he jumped ship.
Yeah.
But don't worry. When we strike gold, he'll be back.
Yep, no doubt. Also, Tyler, very hyped for All Out on Saturday. The match card is pretty fire. And he's especially excited for MJF Briscoe and the Coffin match, along with Cope and Christian versus FTR. So, yeah, the card is very deep. We'll, obviously touch upon all those matches as we get to them. But we're going to jump to the end of the show here just to put a bookend on this whole
Collision.
Yes.
So you guys know Collision.
So there was December. Yes, there was September. I keep meaning to say December to Dismember. And
it's been messing me up too.
So anyway, there was September to Remember Dynamite, and then you had to go back on the HBO Max menu and then go into Collision, which was kind of annoying, but we'll get to that later. So this is the end of the 3 hours following the main event match, which we'll talk about later. It was Hechicero and Josh Alexander against Top Flight. Now, Hechicero had just won the match by pinning Dante Martin. So then after that, Lance Archer came in and began to attack Dante, leading to the Don Callis family surrounding Christopher Daniels. Now, for those of you who don't watch Collision on the regular, Top Flight has been running with CD and returned Scorpio Sky lately to create Skyflight, I think they're called themselves.
I just want to take a moment to say how happy I am to see in 2025, the year of our Lord, Scorpio Sky on my television.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
I always he got put in weird spots, man. Like that top team thing was weird, and
there was a brief moment. There was a brief moment where it was very clear that if AEW was planning on a first Black World Champion, he was probably the name.
Yep.
And then he unfortunately just fell off. And I don't even blame him. even if I didn't love his reign, I loved his TNT championship.
Oh yeah, he had one of the nicest ones.
He had one of the nicest looking belts. He was involved in top tier storylines, and then he just wasn't.
Yeah, like Men of the Year was fun, and then that kind of just fell apart, and he kind of fizzled out, and then eventually he just ended up leaving.
That TNT back and forth with him and Wardlow broke both men.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It was all very weird. And then Sammy, I think, beat him for it at some point. Whatever. Anyway, speaking of Scorpio, he came out with JetSpeed to even things up and make the save for CD, and the brawl began. Everyone starts fighting. Then the Young Bucks came down because they're like kind of allied with Don. Plus, they're
also in the net. Spoilers, yes, but yeah,
they probably wanted to, start to try to take out a couple of their opponents in the match on Saturday. And then Brodito came down to help them to help even things back up, and they're all in the fray. And eventually, we have everyone start fighting to the back. And amidst all the chaos, Lance Archer hit CD with a big-ass boot and then threw him into the ring. So everyone left, and you have Archer and Daniels in the ring, and then Archer was joined by Rocky Romero, who picked up Daniels and threw him into Archer's hand as he went for the chokeslam. But then Hangman Adam Page's music hit. He came down, making the save, fighting Rocky off first before eventually getting Archer out of the ring and allowing CD to escape. And as all of that's happening, Kyle Fletcher attempts to come down and slide into the ring, but he is caught with his hand in the cookie jar by Hangman before he can even get up. And Kyle's like, oh shit, but he gets bailed out because Rocky Romero sneaks back into the ring and grabs Hangman's leg, and that distraction allows Kyle to get up and lay him out with a clothesline. And then as Fletcher is giving Hangman the beat down there, I lost my spot for a second, and therefore my train of thought.
It's okay. We were only watching 3 hours of wrestling on a Wednesday. Don't be too hard on yourself.
When I said my back hurts before the show, it is because I was like hunched over typing for 3 straight hours.
I believe you. I absolutely
believe I keep doing one of these. Anyway, as Fletcher is beating down Hangman, Rocky goes underneath the ring and goes and pulls out a table and sets it up for Fletcher, who then brings over Hangman and attempts to brainbuster him through the table from the apron to the floor. However, Hangman is able to counter that, lariats Fletcher over the ropes back into the ring, fends off Rocky with a big right hand, and Rocky with a great spit for that because Rocky is a professional. And then Hangman goes for the buckshot lariat onto Fletcher. However, Fletcher, because of Rocky's distraction, had time to recover, and he grabbed his TNT championship and countered the buckshot lariat with the title, hitting Hangman in the head. Fletcher then dragged Hangman back over to the apron, and he was able to put him through the table with the brainbuster. And Kyle went back into the ring, grabbed both his title and the AEW Men's World Championship, and posed with them both in the ring and on the apron above Hangman as that carny piece of shit Don Callis looked on and applauded. So, James, I guess Fletcher is indeed a man of his word because he took Hangman out. But all of that thought experiment aside, theory of opposite momentum here. Looks like Hangman's going to win it.
We're safe. I'll be honest. I didn't even really think of, hey, Maria, how are you? Thank you for joining us this late on a now Thursday. I didn't even think about the rules of opposite momentum. I didn't even think about Fletcher during this, who looked great. I realized that time is truly a circle as we are in another Hangman title reign, and he's having to deal with goddamn Lance Archer.
At least he's not fighting him this time.
I had PTSD, man. I was like, what the hell is happening here? The big threat at the end of the night was Lance Archer. All kidding aside, I thought this was very well done. I would have liked a moment more between Hangman and Daniels where, again, kind of going full circle a little bit, Hangman, who has, by all accounts, has redeemed himself, saving the man who made him hit rock bottom, would have been a nice time, and acknowledging that would have been cool, but I'm not gonna begrudge it that they didn't do it because they've interacted since.
Yeah, they interacted earlier in the show.
Yeah, so that would have been cool, but whatever. Good matchup between. I don't want to bury the lead. The matchup was fun between Hechicero and Josh Alexander,
and we'll talk about that later. Yeah.
But the good segment to end the night. Fletcher looking strong, looking real good, Daddy. And I there's a part of me that's rooting for the kid. Not because of anything with Hangman, just because the kid, I think, has earned it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, he looks like he belongs in this main event feud, not only on the mic, but you see here now, like just being able to absolutely take out Hangman. So he looks like he belongs. He can go in the ring to the point where he will look like he belongs on the Saturday. So I'm excited for him. And even if he does lose, like this is a serious star turn for him being thrust in this position. So I'm very excited for him. And as much as I like Wardlow, I feel like this has become a bit of a better feud than what I would have expected because
100%.
Wardlow feels like it might have been a kind of like Lance Archer-esque feud for Paige.
That hurts, but you're right.
Yeah, and I know that sucks, and Wardlow obviously has a longer future ahead of him than Archer does, because Archer's like almost 40, if I'm not mistaken, if he isn't already.
Archer is past 40. Wardlow's 38.
Oh, wow. Wardlow's a lot older than I thought. So
guy looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm wrong there, but either way, I think he has a bit of a longer future than Archer does. So yeah, I'm very much enjoying the Fletcher feud. I'm happy we're getting it, and I'm happy he's absolutely killing it. See, in the comments here, Maria's saying that she thinks Fletcher is going to win the AEW championship at All In next year. I disagree just because I think it's MJF's to win. I think because he still has the contract. So I think that's how that eventually all comes around. Maria also agreeing with me that she thought Wardlow was younger. I did not know that he was 38.
Right, it's crazy.
Somebody get me his skincare stat. You know it, joking around that he didn't see anyone use the rock bottom. WWE might sue. And then a couple of comments from Tyler here. First, Marcus words. Megan Bain, she's been killing it in GCW and AEW too. She's a future world champ. I think Toni needs to push her soon. And I think, James, you talked about this last week where you could still see she's still kind of gearing up in AEW and truly finding her footing. But she's still very protected in AEW.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I agree. She is a future world champion.
I think they're kind of waiting for her and Ford that they're probably going to be inserted in whatever tag team title startup they're going to do, whether it's a tournament, whether it's a battle royal, whatever it may be. I think they're probably saving her for that. And we'll see. I don't think they're going to win the inaugural, but I think they're going to be a part of it.
Yeah. Wouldn't even be surprised. Well, they're contenders to be in the finals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it depends on like what other women heel tag teams you want to throw in there. Because the other ones I'm thinking off the top of my head, like Triangle of Madness, whatever combo you do there, they're also contenders to be in the finals.
Yeah.
So you have that.
I also wanted on the record, there's a part of me, I kind of don't want to see Statlander and Willow ever get together at this point. I'm kind of over it. Fuck it. I don't care.
Tyler also had a couple other questions. Are there any matches for the All Out pre-show? And I think the pre-show is that thing they're doing on TNT or TBS, whatever channel they're doing it on. It's like the tailgate thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's the pre-show.
That would be the Ops.
Yes. So Hobbs and Joe are fighting the Workhorsemen. You're having Garcia Shibata 3. And you're having that 8-woman tornado tag, which is going to be cool.
Yeah.
A lot of good women in that.
Yeah.
And Tyler's other question about the pay-per-view was, what is tables and thumbtacks, no DQ? I think they just wanted to make a TNT joke.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's just a no DQ match. It's just going to be a lot of tables and a lot of black drawstring bags.
I would like it. On some level, it's one of those like logical things that it's like, what are we doing? But I would like it if it's an actual stipulation that the only weapons that can be used in the match are tables and thumbtacks. Like if MJF tries using the diamond ring, he can get DQ'd.
Get DQ'd.
Yeah. But even that's silly. But I would like it.
It would be funny, but I can agree. I can see why it would become dumb.
It's like when WWE back in the day had chair matches, like TLC. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, come on. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. So that's that. Let's keep things rolling here. Because again, a lot to talk about. After we had the contract signing way at the top of the show, we had a promo package for Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin in their coffin match on Saturday. We'll talk more about that in a bit. And that led into our first match, which saw Moxley face off against Roderick Strong. Now, Mox came out with Marina Shafir, who's out here just portraying her man on live television.
I can't tell you how much I was pulling my goddamn hair out. That even commentary didn't really talk about it.
Yeah, and I think it's something that they've never really acknowledged on AEW television, and maybe that's something Roddy and Marina have said, like, nah, like, don't. But there was a funny point in the match when Roddy had left the ring and went face-to-face with Marina, and she kind of had a smirk on her face. And I couldn't tell if it was like a smirk.
I couldn't either.
Or she was trying not to break.
I couldn't tell if she was corpsing or if that was Marina, the character. Like, what are you going to do about it?
I think it was probably both.
Yeah.
But then when Moxley came in and judo chopped Roddy in the neck.
In the throat. I was like, what is happening right now?
But then Taz goes, guys, that was weird. Maybe Roderick's like a little infatuated with Marina.
I almost threw my fucking remote through the television when he said it. He's
so funny.
Maybe there's something there between these two kids. I'm like, get the hell out of here.
I liked it. It was very tongue-in-cheek. I thought it was funny.
Without spoiling, just give me one moment. Without spoiling the matchup, because you're doing a great job recapping it. After the match, when Marina, like, Mox is complaining about his chest, I guess just getting chopped by Roddy. Marina blowing on his chest while her husband is dead in the ring. I wanted to explode. I was like, what is love? What
Baby,
is,
don't hurt me.
No more. It frustrated me so much. And it gets worse because I have this memory for this shit. Months and months and months ago, when Mox was still champ, well into it, and there was that ambush on the outside. Marina rescuing Renee out of the seed, swooping her on her shoulder and getting her out of there. So we respect some bonds of marriage if you're a Death Rider.
We respect them. All. We respect them if they are canon to the television show. It's only canon in NXT. Wait, it is.
Okay. Sure.
Back to the match.
My brain is collapsing upon itself like a dying star right now.
Well, if it helps you with some continuity, to start the match off, Roddy just hit a drop kick through the ropes onto Garcia to start, because they were allies at one point, and now Garcia is a traitorous douchebag. So, see continuity for you.
Sure.
Anyway, to end the match, as Roddy sent Moxley back into the ring, Garcia grabbed Roddy's feet as he tried to follow. So then Kyle O'Reilly, who was out there with Strong, came out and just absolutely nailed Garcia in the face with a kick, and then the two started brawling. Back in the ring, Roddy hit a counter knee strike and went to hit the ropes, but Wheeler Yuta came out of nowhere. I think he was hiding underneath the ring and grabbed Strong's feet to take him out as the referee was distracted by O'Reilly and Garcia's brawl. Moxley quickly took advantage, hitting a paradigm shift, and then he locked in the Bulldog choke, and I think he forced – I don't know if he forced Roddy to tap out. He tapped. Okay, he did tap out, yes, to get the win. So, very good match here, James. But a note I made at the top of it is I've been enjoying how much Moxley has been wrestling since he has lost the title. And I imagine part of that is, when he had the title, the character was he was only going to defend it, if he thought you were worthy. And you probably kind of want to protect your champion by not having him in the ring too much. But Moxley's been a real workhorse since he's lost the title. I think he's had a match damn near every week, and a lot of singles ones at that. So it's great watching him wrestling damn near every week again. And he went out there and put on an absolute clinic with Roddy because Roddy could wrestle a broom to a 5-star match.
So I'm going to half agree with you. It was great to see him have this match with Roddy. When this match was announced, a lot of people were excited, myself included, because I knew it was going to be hard hitting. Roddy is just one of those guys who brings the stiffness. He brings the heat, and Mox will absolutely match you. So I think the match absolutely delivered on what I was expecting and hoping for. Where I'm going to split away from you a little bit is I would have liked a little bit of a break. Not a huge one. Maybe just a couple of weeks.
Of Moxley going away?
Yeah. Because, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate how they explained it. He says, what, just because I lost the title, I'm gone? No, we're restarting now. And I like that because that's been the character's mentality. He's gonna bring the pain. He is going to prove his point. Belt or no belt. But considering they were the big bads of AEW, and arguably they still are. I mean, maybe you could say Don Callis.
There's kind of like they're slowly going in opposite directions. You can see maybe they're about level at the moment, but
it's just because of who's feuding for the world title right now. The Don Callis family is going after the world title. But I'm sure in a few months, the Death Riders are going to feel like the bigger threat again. But regardless of that, I would have given him a little bit of a break to give the fans a little bit of a break. Because I think the fans were a little burnt out on the Death Rider stuff. People picked up when it was clear Hangman was the hero. Yeah. But I think fans were a little like, okay, we're sure. Again. And to your point, Mox wrestling every week. He's lost a good share of those matches, which is, I think, been refreshing and something we've needed to see. But quite frankly, I would have had him gone for 2 to 3 weeks and then like exactly where we've been, losing here and there or winning with what makes sense. I think it would have been better to have recruited Garcia almost off screen. But what do I know?
You know it, making a good point. Should you really be rewarded for losing with a vacation?
You're a failure. Get off TV for a little bit. You don't deserve to be on TV.
And Maria's suggesting that maybe Darby wins this Saturday and then Moxley goes away for a little while. So
I have a feeling about that, and I don't know if now is the time to talk about it because I know we're dealing with more Mox and Darby stuff. But you know what? There is going to be a point where it'll make sense for me to talk about my point, so we'll put a pin in it.
Yeah, probably the Brian Darby interview, I would imagine, which we'll get to later.
You would think, but incorrect.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. All right. Moving on off of this, next up, we had a video package for MJF versus Mark Briscoe. As we mentioned earlier, it's the tables and thumbtacks match. And then that led into a bit of, it's kind of like behind the scenes footage where MJF stormed into Tony Khan's office, super pissed off about the stipulation for this match. And MJF not yelled at Tony, but he had raised his voice, saying Tony screwed him at All In. And then he screwed him again when he changed the rules for the Casino Gauntlet contract. So Max thinks Tony owes him one. Tony, he says that Tony knew he was a professional wrestler when he signed him. So Max says he's not going through any tables or into any tax, and he wants out of the match. Tony responds that he owes Max nothing, telling him he violated the sanctity of professional wrestling with his actions, both involving the contract and involving what he did to Mark Briscoe. So he won't be changing anything for the match, and MJF still has to wrestle. MJF then says he's proud of Tony for getting up, putting on his big boy pants, and deciding to be a boss today. But when he destroys Mark Briscoe on Saturday, and there's another Briscoe in the ground, that's going to be on Toni, not him. And he storms out of Tony's office.
Boo.
Are you booing because you don't like the line, or are you booing because that's heel work?
Both. So I enjoyed the segment. I like how little Toni is a character in AEW.
Yeah.
He's there when it really, really makes sense, or for like the legitimate nature of it. Like, of course, he would be a gorilla during a match. Like, of course, we'd see him if we go in that area. But, and I like that aspect. I liked him standing up to MJF. I didn't like the Briscoe line at the end for two reasons. One, the entire feud, MJF has been really clever in getting heat by bringing up Jay, by never talking down about his passing. He talks about how much of a tragedy it is. He talks about how great Jay was. And he does this as digs at Mark. Like, you'll never be as great as your brother kind of thing.
Yeah, everyone respects him. Yeah. You're a mascot.
Yeah. So I love that he was able to invoke heat on Jay in positive ways, because it's very clever. It's very thoughtful. This was the first time it felt cheap to me. And maybe the idea is Max is now at a point where he's been driven and he's so fed up that he's not playing nice about it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just sentimental because of what the Briscoes meant to me. But it still feels too soon to be making dead brother jokes. Or not joke. He didn't joke. But it still feels too soon to be bringing up Jay as a way of getting cheap heat. So
I can see where you're coming from. I didn't mind the line. I thought it was okay. Maria thought the segment itself was kind of lame. But I initially thought it was like, wow, that's fucking cold. Yeah. But I can see where you're coming from with it, especially considering your history with the Briscoes and stuff like that. So I can see why you wouldn't like it, and I can see why anybody wouldn't like it. So now, it's going to probably be a divisive line, but
and with respect to everyone involved, I'm sure Mark and the family gave the okay. Yeah. Like, Toni has been very good about being respectful in situations like this. Like, I remember, like, this is different, but it's similar. They had Martha Hart at a show, and it was a show where it was either Darby or Sting coming down from the rafters. And they asked her if this would be okay. Like, we don't want to put you in a situation that you're going to be uncomfortable seeing something like that. And I think if he's willing to do that, I'm sure he's getting permission. Is it okay if we do this stuff with Jay and bring this line out? But so I'm sure Mark is cool. I'm sure the family's cool. It's just, to me, it felt cheap. It just felt a little cheap. And if he had been cheap throughout this process, sure. But it's so different than what the rest of the feud has been regarding Jay. So it took me out just a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough. Reminding us, thank you, dude, that it was Darby who came down from the rafters during that episode. I remember that specifically happening, though. Yeah. Maria bringing up an interesting point here that I actually kind of disagree with. We don't need to see Toni on TV ever again. Now, I like, as you said, James, the way Toni occasionally pops up for bigger things. Now, if you're backstage and you get a glimpse of him, it makes sense. But he's a character, but very, very rarely is he actually integrated in the storylines. The most recent time you really saw it was when the Bucks joined with Jack Perry and to reform, to add him to the new version of the Elite, and then the Bucks took him out. Yeah. So, and then he wore a neck bracelet for the NFL draft to sell it. This actually reminded me of very early AEW, because I watched this match back recently when they put it on HBO Max, when Moxley was fighting Kenny Omega in that Lights Out match, And there was the closed door meeting with Moxley and Toni, where very similar to this, you just saw the door that said Tony Khan on it, and you heard Mox arguing with Toni that this is a lights out match, this is bullshit, doesn't count on my official record. And it felt very similar to that. So I like when this happens, and I like the fact that part of me was like, oh, I wish we did it more, but I think the rarity of it makes it cooler when it does happen. So I'm pretty okay with the way they usually handle Toni being a character on the show.
And it's very clear that it's only with some people. Like, MJF has gotten involved with Toni more than others. Like, I remember when he was doing the Better Than You Bebe stuff with Cole, and they appeared outside his door, and he just yelled at them for, like, doing something. Like, he just lost his shit with them. And it was so good. But once a year, twice a year, we're getting it. And I think that's the way it needs to be.
Yeah, I agree. Another note here from Tyler on MJF. Apparently, he's been hanging out with Alex Hammerstone over at MLW and possibly
have you seen
AEW. I knew he showed up in MLW. I didn't see the specifics of what happened there.
See, I'm intrigued because I don't know that Hammerstone's contract is going to be up anytime soon. I think he's going to be with MLW for a while. I'm sure you know they were a tag team once upon a time.
Yes.
Yeah, they were the Dynasty, MJF and Hammerstone. And he's trying to, like, awaken something in Hammerstone. He says, I'm all elite. You're major league. Together, we're the Dynasty. And I would love to see Hammerstone come in to AEW because he was tearing it up in TNA, but it just didn't, like, he got injured, and then I guess TNA didn't want to bring him back. It got weird. So I would love for him to get a spot in AEW because he's not going to, I say this with respect to Hammerstone, who I am a fan of. You're going to be pissing a hole through that cup. Like, it's going to be radioactive. So AEW is a little, I don't want to say cooler because I don't want to, like, glorify it, but, like, they're not as strict about it. They had Brian Cage on their roster.
Fair.
So, yeah, I would love to see him over there, or at the very least, in the world we live in where WWE is using TNA as a feeder system, let MLW have some relationship with AEW, right?
Yeah, and it appears they kind of do, although, Toni doesn't really give a damn what you do on the weekends in terms of wrestling, so.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't interfere with your day job, he's cool.
Yeah. Bringing it up, it's better than WWE forgetting that Owen Hart even existed. I think that's more to do with Martha.
Who I do not blame in the slightest, by the way.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like, I love Brett, and I think Brett is right about a lot of stuff he says. But when he tried guilting Martha, like, oh, she's stopping people from remembering his legacy. These are the people. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's brush past that and awkwardly move on. Let's head to our next match, which saw Bobby Lashley face off against Toa Liona. Meet. That's all I got for you.
Yeah.
To jump towards the end of the match where Liona was able to dodge a spear by rolling out of the ring. So then Bobby rolled out of the ring and went around and just absolutely speared the hell out of him, which then led Ricochet to stand in between Liona and Bobby. And Ricochet's like, what you going to do? Yo, like, you can't hit me. Like, you'll get TQ, whatever. So MVP just came over and knocked him the fuck out.
My jaw dropped.
I was laughing so hard.
I was like, does he owe him money? Like, did they have, like a love triangle with Samantha? Like, what the? That was a hit. Like that was like that was a personal hit.
I was trying to find the GIF. I found one close enough to it where it's the you got knocked the fuck out from Friday. Like, and
you got to do the neck thing when you say. Yeah.
I might do my back. My shit's jacked up enough already from just typing everything. And as I was saying, and insults and injury, MVP then took Ricochet and threw him into the barricade.
My favorite thing, I don't know if you were looking at the details of this. I loved that you just see Bishop Khan in the background, like, what? Like, he looks like, what is happening? And he does nothing to stop it. And it's because he has to get involved in the bit on the apron.
Yeah.
But it was like, he was like, damn, that's crazy what they're doing to you. Damn.
He saw Ricochet get dropped. He's like, I want fucking none of that smoke.
Yep.
So, as James mentioned, once Bobby rolled Liona back into the ring, Khan jumped up on the apron to distract him, and that led to my man Shelton Benjamin coming over, pulling Khan off of the apron, and then hitting him with a thrust kick. Lashley then went for another spear, but Liona had time to recover due to the distraction, so he was able to dodge it and redirected, going off the ropes and hitting a pounce onto Bobby, pinning him, and then Bobby kicked out. Liona attempted to stay on the offensive, but Lashley was able to end up ducking him, got behind him, and got in the hurt lock. Liona attempted to go to the ropes, so Lashley fell backwards, and after rolling his shoulders over, so he wasn't getting pinned anymore. He then forced Liona to tap out, and Bobby was able to win the match. Immediately after, Ricochet and Khan trying to get into the ring and go after Lashley and get him to break the hold, but Shelton and MVP beat them in there and were able to fend them off, with MVP breaking his cane over Ricochet's back as Lashley continued to apply the hurt lock until he decided that Liona had enough and then tossed him out of the ring, leaving the Hurt Syndicate standing tall in there while Ricochet and GOA retreated up the ramp. So, James, again, neat.
No, it was. It was hitting.
Yeah. I like this match. Like you said, it was hard hitting. It was really cool. Nice to see Bobby have a singles match again for the first time in what feels like a while. And I would have liked this match no matter what. But MVP stole this show. Yeah, 5 stars. It's 7 stars in the Tokyo Dome.
It was interesting for me because there was a part of me that was like, because I think I'm more of a fan of Bishop Khan than I am of Toa Liona, and I don't know why, but I get more excited for him. I think he carries himself a little bit better, and I was like, okay, I would have preferred this other matchup, but we'll see. And this delivered. This absolutely delivered. I think this was a commercial match. Like, I think this was a 2-segment match.
I believe so, yeah.
So, and they earned their time as far as I'm concerned. You're absolutely right. MVP stole it. It wasn't even fair. To the point.
I look forward to that ending up in probably in Botchamania, shout out Matthew, where it's just MVP rocking him and then with the "We'll be right back" from
like
Eric Andre show. It's gonna happen.
I think it was such a good beatdown to the point that unfortunately I think MVP is getting pinned.
Yeah,
I think Ricochet's pinning MVP.
I was gonna say theory of opposite momentum here. Ricochet and GOA.
Yeah.
Obviously, being on the wrong side of things tonight, you would think that they would be on the right side of things come Saturday. And I know everyone's like, oh, like the Hurt Syndicate doesn't want to put people over. This is a situation where if you want to build this new trio, beating the Hurt Syndicate is a very good way to do it. And especially considering the history between them and Ricochet. Yeah. And you're right. MVP seems like the guy who's probably going to end up taking the L, and it's going to be dirty, whatever it is.
Yeah, as it should be. Should be.
It's going to be like seriously dirty, whether it's the scissors or Ricochet uses MVP's own cane against him, whatever it is. But MVP seems like the guy where you can have him take the pinfall just because that helps protect Bobby and Shelton, even though Shelton's been pinned plenty of times.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He took plenty of losses in the C2, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm saying, like, he's willing to, also eat a pin. So it's possible Shelton takes one as well, but MVP seems like the right guy in that situation. Because Lord knows it's not going to be Bobby. So
no, of course not. Which, you know me, I'm a huge Bobby guy, but it's irking me a little bit too.
Yeah. But I think Toni also wants to protect him as well.
I'm sure, but for what? Like, are we building towards a title challenge, or what are we building towards here? But
I eventually think so. Yes. I don't know if you win, but
Maria,
We're agreeing MVP gets pinned.
And quite frankly, that's the role he should serve here. You know,
Yeah.
he's not an active wrestler, really. So all this would be solved if I got Cedric goddamn Alexander. But anyway,
Sorry, he'll be on NXT next week.
they're building to that, right? You saw all those tweets.
Yep.
Anyway, that's a headache for tomorrow. Not much more to say about this. This was very well done. I do say jokingly, I know I brought up Cedric. There is a part of me that's wondering, though, if this is going to maybe bring in an official third active member of Hurt Syndicate after this matchup. Because while they might give this first win to Ricochet and GOA, I think they're going to get the win back. And I think that might be what brings in a third guy. I've seen the popular name that everyone's hoping it is.
Oh, would it be Keith Lee?
Yeah. But quite I swear I didn't even see the comment. Maria, same brain. That was good. But I personally would rather see Keith Lee come in and beat Bobby than join Bobby.
Speaking of a meat match.
I'd be feasting for days. For days. But I'll also just take Keith Lee back in any form at this point.
Yeah, he's tweeted, I think today, that he will be back at some point. He just doesn't know when.
His tweets infuriate me.
Yes.
And it shouldn't. I know this speaks to me as a person. I know it speaks to me being unreasonable. But blink if Toni is holding you in a basement somewhere, Keith. Blink twice. Because what the fuck?
Also, we also need him to join the Hurt Syndicate for the Shelton memes.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Or I guess she's Michin now, right? Excuse me. But yes, that's what we really need it for.
Yeah.
All in all, though, as Maria has rightfully pointed out, excellent meat match.
Excellent. Excellent meat match.
All right. So that allows us to move on to our next segment, which was kind of long, so forgive me, was the Adam Copeland and Christian Cage face-to-face with FTR, who came out with an army of security guards who surrounded the ring.
Wouldn't you, if you were Stoke at this point? Wouldn't you?
I guess so. And after seeing what happened to Dax, I probably would.
I legit felt bad. We'll talk about it, but I felt bad.
Yep. So we had our man Tony Schiavone back in the ring again, and after he introduced everyone and the ground rules where Christian and Cage would be fined if there was any physicality. Anybody would get fined if there's any physicality. Stoke grabs the mic from Tony, who, again, just got bullied all day today, to remind CNC that if they touch Dax or Cash, they'll be fined $100,000. And if they touch him, they'll be fined $500,000. And he'll have the match canceled, allowing Christian and Cope to do what they do best and disappoint everyone. And Copeland also brought up, Stokely also brought up Copeland's wife at this point, which then led to something else a bit later. Stokely then passed the mic off to Cash, who said that 15 years ago he met Copeland, who became a friend and a mentor that opened doors for them, telling them that they had to go in and kick that door down once he did. And they did kick it down, becoming the best tag team of all time and living legends. And then they helped Copeland get his career back. And then he came to AEW apparently to help them and work with them. But instead, he made it to Cope Show and made them supporting cast. So while they help Adam get his career back, they're now going to take it away. Dax then gets the mic and he says that while CNC may have been one of the best tag teams of their time, it was mostly just because they were carried by two mediocre teams to relevancy. On the other hand, FTR has carried...
Fuck you, FTR. How about that? Cody was right. You bald and arrested pieces of shit.
God, I miss those bits.
Oh.
Anyway, Dax said that FTR has carried tag team wrestling on their back for the last 11 years, having matches with people like, and I love that he listed all these people, Enzo and Big Bill, Gable and Jordan, Gargano and Ciampa, the Young Bucks, and a trilogy with the Briscoes. I think that was all of the teams you mentioned. Great list.
They meant the Bucks.
Yep, Bucks. I think that was everything.
Yeah.
Anyway. According to Dax, CNC needs this to be a dream match, but for FTR, this is just another match for them. At this point, Copeland's fed up, and he grabs the mic away and tells Dax to shut the hell up. And then before going in on FTR, he tells Stokely that he should be used to disappointing people, which is why he gets no hose. And that he should keep Beth's name out his mouth, else she'll slap his lips off his head.
See, he should have said mouth. He said face.
Yes.
And he messed it up, but it was still fine, but it was funny.
Cope then turns to Cash, telling him that he's the one who decided to destroy their friendship after all of these years, after they let him stay in their apartment when he was homeless, and Cope went out of his way to open doors for him because to get him hired, and he threw it all away because FTR wasn't getting the spotlight when he came to AEW to work with them. But the reason they weren't getting the spotlight is because the crowd didn't want them there. They wanted him there. Cope says that FTR is indeed in the conversation for one of the greatest tag teams of all time. So welcome to the club, as they've been in that conversation for the last 25 years.
Great line.
They were out revolutionizing tag team wrestling when FTR was just getting bass in their voice, creating a matchup so popular that it became a pay-per-view. And on Saturday, two of the greatest tag teams of all time are going to go face-to-face in their hometown, in their home country, in front of their people. So when CNC drag them into the deep water, you're going to understand why Cope and Cage, and then Christian at this point takes Copeland's arm, pulls the mic over, and goes, Cage and Cope, and then just puts it back. And they got a big cheer. But yeah, so they're going to understand why Cage and Cope are just better than them. Christian then takes the mic, saying that $100,000 is a lot of money. Hell, maybe if Stokely had that type of money, he could get some hose. But at the risk of sounding like an asshole, he can afford it because he's rich. And then he takes the mic and just brains Dax, and then Cash and Cope look at each other, and they're just like, oh shit, I guess we're fighting. And they start fighting, and the brawl is on. Security spills into the ring, and they all get taken out, and everyone hits their finishers on poor security guards. Had a Shatter Machines one, Christian hit a Killswitch on another one, and Copeland hit a spear on a third one. And then everyone just kind of awkwardly looked at each other after we went through all that sequence. And then they're like, oh, I guess we're fighting again. And it was at this point, they start brawling again. And I guess they got pulled apart or FTR might have just left the ring because somebody potatoed the fuck out of Dax and might have broken his nose.
No. So
that's how it happened.
It was the very first hit. Christian hit him flat in the mouth with the microphone.
Oh, so it was okay. I didn't see when it happened. I didn't see the blood until they were walking up the ramp. I
didn't see the blood either, but I saw the hit and I was like, holy shit. And then I saw as Christian is wailing on him in the corner, Dax is not defending himself or retaliating at all. He is just straight up holding his mouth, his nose, and everything.
It looked to me like he broke his nose.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. Like there were no judgment on the guy. Like we all would. There were tears in his eyes.
Yeah, no, that's just a reaction. You get hit in the nose, you automatically tear up. Like
so, I
wasn't crying. It's a physical reaction.
Yeah. And you know what? Even if he was crying, he has every right to. We're men. Yes. Men can cry. But that was rough. That was rough. I couldn't tell if Christian knew right away. He definitely saw it when they were up the ramp. But when he did it, I don't know if he knew what he had done. But he definitely saw it. I saw him make a face when he was looking at him from the ramp.
I feel like this is also the second time now Dax has been bloodied during one of their brawls. I think it happened in Philly a few weeks ago. But other than that, though, as Maria pointed out, this was a great segment.
It really was.
Not only sufficiently hyped for this match, I think I'm even more so now because this was so good.
I loved so much of it. I thought Cope did a great job. I loved Cope's line about they wanted me. Because like if you look at it deep enough, it could be a heel line, but it's also the truth. The crowd is fucking over for Cope. So it was a good line. And I loved Christian being the one to say, fuck it, we're going to beat you up anyway. Because heel Christian would absolutely be like, my money.
Yeah.
But this is like, all right, we're getting there. You know, we're getting there. Little by little, babyface Christian is coming. or tweener Christian?
Yeah, no, he's going to definitely say tweener because, as we talked about a few weeks ago, we want Christian to stay in this character
Yes,
because
absolutely.
we're going to cheer him so he can still be a face and still be this asshole.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with the way he is now. And I like, as you said, I like the way he was the one who started the brawl, especially because this isn't technically his fight. This is just the favor, that he's returning to Copeland for Copeland helping him with the Nick Wayne situation.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that he's kind of taking it personally now, and he's really, they're really reforming together as a tag team and as friends.
Yeah.
Maria said that a receipt's coming for Christian. I doubt it. These guys like each other way too much. They know it was an accident. And it's saying, I think he meant nose nuts. You react.
Yeah, he said, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been hit in the face. Never clean in the nose like that, but you can just tell, you get hit anywhere close.
Someone's hit you in the face before?
Yeah, you.
I don't recall. I don't recall.
Superman punched me right in the mouth. A fat lip.
And let that be a lesson to all of you.
Yeah, don't walk around with a title while James is holding a Money in the Bank briefcase. That's the lesson. I also, dude, I've been hit with so many baseballs. Come on.
In the face?
Well, I was a catcher. I had the mask on, but I used to take foul ball at least twice a game.
Slightly different, but fair.
Still hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Next up, we had a backstage interview with the Young Bucks. So Renee had caught up with them earlier in the day, and she asked them about their momentum heading into their qualifier match for the four-way ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team titles at All Out. And they're pretty excited because they just won all the money, and Nick is happy because they're back in suits. Plus, he just paid off production to make sure their entrance is better than ever, so the Bucks are back. Matt is still a little nervous, though, because he's like, Nick, the bag's getting a little light here, especially since you lost half of it at the casino last week on BTE. But Nick tells him not to worry, as there's plenty to go around. Matt's like, all right, fine. We are back to ourselves. We're going to go out and win the match tonight and go on to become the first four-time AEW Tag Team Champions. Nick then pulls out a wad of cash and gives it to Renee, telling her that they've been pretty rude to her over the last few years, so she should go out and buy herself something pretty, and has $10,000 USD, not Canadian.
Which she happily accepted.
Yep, and she was like, yeah, I love the Young Bucks. Go Bucks. So apparently you can pay off Renee. But James, you were very excited to bring up something there. Did I miss something in this?
I called this last week when they won the match. You and I were talking about it, and you said, the Bucks are going to be back, I guess. All back to normal for them. And I said, I was like, I don't know. 500 grand divided amongst the two of them in 2025 is not that much money in the grand scheme of things. And it took literally 1 week for them to address it and for them to say they're almost out as it is.
They lost half, so they have 250 left, and I guess a little bit less. So they have 240 left because Renee just got some. And
production, they paid.
Yeah, whatever they paid off to production, which worked.
Yeah,
because they got huge pyro and their actual music for the match. So, and then they lost a bit more during the match too, which I think was another 10. So let's see if they gave 10 to production, they're down to about 220.
So the counter is on right now.
Yeah,
and I'm glad I called it last week. I didn't expect it to go this big, this fast. And I'm going to say something that's going to controversial. I want your take on it. Renee Young, the character. Or, I'm sorry. Renee Paquette. Renee Paquette.
Having flashbacks there.
Yeah. Renee Paquette, the character, is a heel. She is complicit in her husband's actions. And I've been saying this for a while. I'm consistent on this. She's taking bribes from heels. She's an instigator. You've seen it.
And she does stir shit. I mean, part of it's her job, but...
Is Marvez doing this?
We haven't seen Marvez in a while.
All right. Is Atoot doing this? Or I guess, is Mrs. Friedman doing this? I don't think so. So all I'm saying is I think Renee Paquette's a heel.
Secret heel. Maybe.
I still love her. But she's been pushing me for a while now in this direction.
I'm trying to decide whether her association with RJ City makes her a heel or is a point in the face column. Not really sure.
I mean, we've seen heel babyface friendships before.
That's true.
So,
Team Hell No.
True.
Maria
and the crazy thing is, in Hell No, Kane was actually the babyface, which is hilarious.
That is true. Maria saying that Cope and Christian should turn heel after the feud with FTR is over and win the tag team championships. Good luck with that. Yeah. I mean, not the tag team championship part. That's probably going to happen somewhere down the road, but them turning heel is going to be no one's booing Christian right now.
I don't think anyone's booing either of them right now. I think the crowd's way too hot for them, and I think you could do it eventually. But there is too much money in this nostalgia right now. So let's enjoy it for a moment. We finally got it. Yay, they're a tag team again. Once that wears out, you could turn them heel.
Yeah.
And revitalize it. Because, and again, Edge and Christian as a tag team were 90% of their tag team run were as heels.
Yeah, they were just funny heels. So, like, people look back on it fondly.
Yeah.
But like The Rock was almost always a heel, but he just talked a lot of shit, so everyone's like, "Oh, he was the best."
It just depends on who you pointed at.
Yeah. Also, I trust me, I've taken plenty of foul balls there. That's why I always wore cup, but it still wasn't fun.
Did your team ever do cup checks?
Not really. I mean, some of them did, but for the most part, not really. It wasn't.
We got cup checked, and.
Like your friends doing it, or like the coach came over and made sure you were wearing one?
Both.
They just told us you had to. It was like if you didn't wear one, you couldn't play.
Yeah, they would use a bat.
Oh, see, no, that sounds illegal. What little league did you play in?
I'm not looking to be part of a lawsuit, but they would use the bottom of the bat, the knob of the bat, and they would just tap.
Weird. All right, moving on.
Do I have trauma? Do I got to talk to somebody about this?
Moving on to the Young Bucks' actual match, they faced off against two members of the Bang Bang Gang. It was Austin Gunn and Juice Robinson for a shot again at the AEW World Tag Team Championships in that ladder match that'll be happening on Saturday. As James and I mentioned, the Bucks did lose some money in this match, and that was because at one point Nick attempted to pay off referee Rick Knox with what looked like another stack of $10,000 and put the money in his pocket. So Knox just took it out of his pocket and threw it up in the air and tossed it around the ring, which then led to an Austin Gunn roll-up, which Nick kicked out of. Side note, thought the Bucks already had Knox on their payroll, but I guess because they were broke, they couldn't afford it anymore. Now he doesn't care.
I think it's one of those things that he's not forever on the payroll. It's one of those things that he'll accept the bribe from them. But yeah. I don't think he's gonna my headcanon of it is that he's not gonna be so explicit about it. He's not gonna risk his job on TV with Toni. But BTE, if he gets caught, he gets caught. There's a difference.
The Bucks also did kill him once, so
I mean, who haven't they killed?
It's only the two. It was him and Cole. Hey, Fernando, what's going on, dude? Fernando thinks that the Bucks are going to win the titles this weekend. Possibly.
I'm gonna strongly disagree, but it's not impossible. I'm not even gonna strongly disagree. I'm just gonna disagree.
Yeah, they probably have a 1 in 4 chance. Anyway,
whoa, are you a calculator? That was nuts.
Thanks.
That was great math.
Anyway, we towards the end of this match had Austin Gunn counter the TK driver by hitting a leaping flatliner onto Nick as he came off of the ropes. And then Juice was able to get out of the tombstone with Matt and hit a Blade Runner, but Matt was able to kick out of that. And then Matt and Juice went back and forth with some roll-ups with some assists from Nick and Austin, which I thought was really funny. And that ended with Juice kicking out of the final one. So Austin charged at Nick, but Nick was able to duck him and sent him over the ropes to the outside. Juice then hit Nick with a clothesline that sent Nick over the ropes, but Nick was able to land on the apron. And when Juice turned around, he walked right into the awaiting arms of Matt Jackson, who got him in position for the tombstone. Nick springboarded himself, hit the flip, hit the TK driver, and Matt pinned Juice and allowed them to advance to the four-way ladder match on Saturday. So, James, this was good. I'm happy to see the Bang Bang Gang doing things, despite the fact they're a little, undermanned at this point. But Juice is still over as hell. I also realized that when he's doing his jabs, he actually says juice out loud, which is funny. But I enjoyed this match. And once again, we're just getting good Young Bucks matches. So I had a lot of fun watching this.
I did too. It's weird because, like, I know this isn't what the Bang Bang Gang should be. Like, it's weird to see a Gunn not teaming with a Gunn. Right. Like, it feels off. It feels wrong. But I loved seeing Juice hitting a Switchblade. I feel like Blade Runner. I said, yeah, my bad. Thank you. It was cool seeing him. It was cool hitting him, seeing him hit a Blade Runner. I really hope this is a sign, like the clock is ticking. He's coming back. This is a group that I would love to see brought back to full strength sooner than later. Babyface, heel, whatever you want them to be. I would love to see them back at some point. The match itself, a lot of fun. The Bucks have history with Juice. They go back to like New Japan, and I think even maybe ROH, but I'm not sure. Fun matchup. The Bucks are doing what they need to be doing. They're fun heels again.
Yep.
Like, you want them to get popped in the mouth, but they're making you laugh. Like that, to me, they're hitting that right balance that, even though I've enjoyed the Bucks pretty much throughout, this is the first time that in a while that I could say, you know what? I'm into the Bucks right now. I'm not tolerating that they're here. I'm enjoying that they're here. So this has been a cool return to form for them. This match was definitely a big part of that. The finish was good. The finish made sense. The Bucks being in the ladder match is the move.
Oh, yeah.
Not to derail Fernando, who thinks that the Bucks are taking the tag titles this weekend. It's possible. It is, because we just said in the segment before, we do think Cope and Christian are gonna gun for the tag titles. And if they are, Cope and Christian versus the Bucks is a match.
Yeah, you have to have that in general at some point anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, anything is possible. Anything can happen. This was a fun matchup. I would like to see the Guns back together. I know the circumstances. Do we know how bad the injury is?
I do not recall what happened to Colton. Maybe somebody can check that for us, or maybe I'll look it up in a second.
I remember he got hurt in the match.
Yes.
Like, he came back, they had one match, he got hurt in the match, and that was it.
Let's see if I can find it. Colton Gunn injury. I think Google. Looks like he had a knee injury. But I don't know. That's the Google AI, and that's what I'm going with. But it doesn't know the extent. So yeah, hopefully he can come back. But I think we're gonna see something happen with the Bang Bang Gang sooner than later. They had a backstage interview. I don't remember if it was Dynamite or Collision last week, or 2 weeks ago, where Juice and Austin were like, "We gotta get serious," and they got rid of Card Switch and the cardboard cutout of Colton as well. So they're taking things seriously.
Card Switch?
Yeah, the Switch was
it's Card Blade.
Card Blade, whatever. I'm bad at that name. I always fuck that up. I don't know why. But yeah, they got rid of them, and they wanted to be more serious. They were kind of teasing it, maybe bringing somebody else in. And I know there's a guy there you really want in the Bang Bang Gang in Ace Austin. So
Let me paint you a picture.
Personally hoping that happens.
Let me paint you a picture here. Ace Austin joins the Bang Bang Gang. We have a fully formed Bang 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 again. Bang Bang Gang again. with Jay White, the Guns, Juice, Ace Austin. Ace Austin uses this group to win every championship in AEW simultaneously. He then uses it.
And then I beat everyone.
And then what?
Yeah. And then I beat everyone.
And then he takes this group to Japan and he wins every belt in New Japan as well. This is my vision. Help me realize it. Tony, please.
For those of you who don't know, James really likes Ace Austin.
This kid should have been TNA World Champion. He can become AEW World Champion eventually. He's obviously not there in any stretch. He's got a long, long way to go. But if Ace Austin wants to win a TNT title, I'm down for it. If Ace Austin wants to win the Unified title, I'm down for it.
Yeah, TNT title seems like the first logical spot for him to eventually win. But I don't think it's going to be for a while because Fletcher's going to be hanging on to that shit for a minute.
Personally, I think he and the Guns would be a good fit for the trios.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Or even right now, like, with what's going on, if you just had the three of them. But hopefully Jay and Colton can get back soon and, like, they are a formidable unit again because they are so much fun together.
I'm waiting.
Ooh, here's a good question from You Know It. Would you rather get hit in the mouth or get hit in the huevos?
With a bat? The mouth.
As somebody who's gotten hit in both places with a bat, yeah, I think I'm still taking the head.
Like, I mean, both are going to suck, but, like, I can get reconstructive surgery on this.
So, yeah, technically I didn't get hit in the mouth with the bat. I got hit in the forehead. But usually, so, like, I just don't remember getting hit because I had a massive concussion.
Fucking shocking.
I remember getting hit downstairs. It hurts. You know it. Yeah,
do we have trauma?
Literal brain trauma. Ace wins all the titles and retires. There you go.
We're all on the same page. Love to see it.
All right, let's keep things moving because we still have so much to go through.
It's fun. Just so you guys know, we're going to do some inside baseball here real quick. We got a message from Producer Boy in our group chat where he was doing some of the analytics. And he said, at most, our Dynamites should be 50 minutes. Like, our Dynamite reviews should be 50 minutes.
No. We usually get them at an hour and a half. And technically, we're about to be done with Dynamite. And even though we did cover a little of a Collision. So we're technically on track for that. And now we just have to cover Collision, which will probably take an extra half hour. So
he legit told me TNA should be 25 minutes at most.
I recall.
Anyway.
Moving off that topic before somebody gets in trouble, we had a quick promo package for the Tornado Tailgate Brawl. It's Willow Nightingale, Mina Shirakawa, Harley Cameron, and Queen Aminata facing off against Megan Bay and Penelope Ford, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue. And the latter of those two did like the creepy twin thing from The Shining in their promo, and it was cool. That led to our Good Lucha Things match of the night, which saw the Beast Mortos face off against Máscara Dorada for a shot to be in the three-way match for the AEW Unified Championship. Now, Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita have already won their matches to move on to All Out. Yes. So to get to the end of the match following a crazy move from the top rope, which I don't even think Excalibur knew what it was. He just gave the old one-up maneuver because it seriously popped him. But whatever it was like a back-flipping like Rana. Mortos kicked out at 1.
That was nuts.
And he comes up, he's like grabbing a rope, pulling a warrior, and then he charges at Dorada, but Dorada is able to dodge it. So Mortos hits the ropes, comes back, and Dorada counters him using Mortos' momentum to hit a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Dorada then climbs to the top rope and hits the shooting star press, and he gets the win and advantage to the Unified Championship three-way match. After the match, Okada came out, surprisingly accompanied by that carny piece of shit Don Callis, who was carrying both the international and continental titles. And then Takeshita came out, probably a little miffed that Don was with Okada, and he went straight at Okada, and the two went face-to-face with Don attempting to play Peacemaker. However, that got interrupted when Dorada came flying in, and he took out Okada with a tope, leading to him and Takeshita having a stare down of their own as we went into the commercial break. So, James, like I said, good lucha things in this match.
No, this was fantastic.
This fucking rocked. God, I love this kid Dorada. I love Mortos. Feed me this every fucking week, Tony. Give me a good lucha thing match of the week every night. And I'm sure we probably usually get them on Collision with Hologram. And now he's got his thing happening with Clone. Ask Kyle O'Reilly about that, by the way. Yeah. So I should probably watch more Collision to get more good lucha things. But, God, I love this match.
So I want to get into this a little bit deeper than the match itself, because I think I don't know what I could say about it other than how incredible it was. There were too many cool spots to really get into like the minutia of the match. So yes, straight up incredible matchup between two incredible talent and a good segment to follow. Really built the tension.
Yeah.
I want to get deeper into it though on a couple levels. One, jokingly, but not really. Why are you even dating Mercedes if you're not winning matches like this? What's the benefit? What are we doing here?
I was a little surprised he actually lost.
I was too.
And I'm sure you'll bring this up, but it was a thing where, okay, do you let the CMLL guy win so that he's on the pay-per-view match?
Yes.
But that he's most likely going to take the pin. I would think. Maybe not. But I think considering all the other factors, he probably will.
Yeah.
Or do you have him lose, but then he doesn't have to take the pin on the pay-per-view?
I would rather him be on the pay.
If you're CMLL.
You have to look at the quality of opponent here. You have Kazuchika Okada, whose resume speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And he is the champion right now. And you have Konosuke Takeshita, who is the G1 winner and is an international star in his own right. So in this situation, if I'm CMLL, I'd rather him be in the match, even if he has to take the pin. Exposure's exposure. And this is a big match.
And he's young too. Like they've made a point to say, like, oh yeah, he's like the future of CMLL as someone like Mystico starts to wind his career down. So being in the match, even if he does take the L, is a big deal for a kid like him.
Absolutely. I would love to say I got pinned by Okada or Takeshita. I mean, I'm not complaining. Deeper than that though, and I'm being serious here. I think AEW has a real opportunity when it comes to bringing some lucha to North America. And now I know what I'm saying, because clearly WWE is doing the same with this AAA relationship. They put the Mega Championship on Dominic, which is like all things. Congratulations to Dominic on that. That's a huge win.
Yeah. And he was getting cheered, which was hilarious.
Yeah. By the very nature of this WWE AAA acquisition, they're bringing some lucha to North America. But it's also very clear that this is to service WWE. With AEW's relationship with CMLL, which is a partnership, not an ownership, we're obviously going to see CMLL talent be CMLL talent. But it really struck me as I was watching the match and seeing how good it was. They had a little graphic in the bottom left corner for AEW merch when it came to lucha, where it was like they had an AEW lucha mask. They had a shirt that said Viva la Lucha, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of ECW bringing up all these luchadors from Mexico up to North America and giving them exposure and helping ECW create an identity for itself. They brought up Eddie Guerrero. They brought up Rey Mysterio Jr. Like, they brought up Psychosis. Super crazy.
Hoovy.
Great pick there. Great call. And it helped define, and by extension even further, WCW really did it bigger and better.
Yeah.
They took the lucha guys and like it became a thing in WCW.
Granted, they buried them all at the top of the show and they could never leave the cruiserweight division, but it really did help, revolutionize the cruiserweights there. And then on your ECW point, when they started bringing all those guys in towards the end, it was Paul seeing the future where he knew the extreme stuff really wasn't going to last that much longer.
Yep.
And if that last like year of ECW, you still had the extreme stuff, but it was just a lot of really good fucking wrestling and just banger after banger. And the end of that basically set the basis for Ring of Honor a few years later.
1000%. Great take there, Rev. Awesome.
I kind of stole that from Dave Meltzer, but
it
was a Wrestling Observer Rewind stuff.
And
the price.
I think AEW has a real opportunity here. Like I for a split second in my head, I was like, maybe they create a lucha title. And I don't think they should. I wouldn't separate them the way WCW did. But I do think there is something to really capitalizing on your lucha stars. You have people like Hechicero. You have people like Mortos. You have people like Hologram. You have people like when they bring Mystico up. There is no shortage of lucha guys that they can highlight.
Yeah,
and I think
this clone guy coming in as well. Yeah. I forgot his real name, but he looks cool. And I mean, you have LFI in general, so you have all of them. I think Sammy just joined them, by the way.
Yeah.
Did I see that correctly?
I don't know that he's like LFI for sure, but yeah, he's with them now. He's running with them now.
And he still has one of the titles, which is funny. And then also too, MJF has a CMLL championship at the moment.
I think he's got the
he's calling it the World Championship, but it's not.
No, I do think it is a World Championship, but it is the Light Heavyweight World Championship.
Okay, but yeah, he's been calling it the World Championship, and Excalibur's quick to point out that's not actually their World Championship. So, no, I agree. I think there are a lot of lucha guys to highlight, and Tony's been doing a very good job of mixing and matching, when to bring them in, when to not, and it's why the CMLL partnership has worked so well. Their talent exchange is second to none. Especially when you're, having CML send over guys like Dorada, like Mystico, and you're sending back fucking MJF.
Yep.
And let's not forget Bandito as well for Luchadors. Yep. Like they are not wanting for good, good lucha guys. So yeah, I love when they're out there. It's so much fun. And this match on Saturday now can't miss.
Yeah.
Because I know Dorada's probably, he's kind of like the third wheel in this situation, but he's going to put on a fucking display while Okada and Takeshita are working out all their anger towards each other.
I also, again, I know I've been pretty wild in my pseudo predictions for the show. I don't think there's a world that far out in the multiverse where Dorada wins. I don't you can make a real argument that it's a great way of getting the title off of Okada, and Okada Takeshita doesn't need a title for that rivalry.
I would agree. Almost, I guess. Well, here's my thing: would Okada take the pin? Because I don't think you can pin Takeshita right now just to be nice to New Japan.
And I get that too. And you make the best argument for as to why that wouldn't happen. Who of those two take the pin? Okada's taken a pin or two in AEW so far.
Yes.
So I don't think it's likely, but I don't think it's the most far-fetched concept that maybe this unified title that was once the
international and continental championships
becomes an actual international title,
which is what we all wanted for the original international title, and now it's this one big title. But it's something that's doable, and I can definitely see it happening in the future, because I've always said that the international title should have been won by somebody outside the company for a long time.
We were fighting that fight from Champion 1.
Yes. So
when it was the All Atlantic title, we were fighting that fight.
So if you can still do it with the unified title, and I'd be very excited for that. I just don't think this is going to end up being the situation.
Yeah.
I think it could probably be Okada or Takeshita, And it kind of depends on whether or not you want to send Takeshita over there with that title when he challenges for the IWGP Championship. Now, do you want to send him over there with that title? And if he's losing, probably not. So I genuinely think if Takeshita doesn't win the title on Saturday, he might end up losing the IWGP Championship match as well. If he wins, I think there's a good chance he wins both titles.
I would flip.
Oh,
and it would add credence to AEW saying the Unified Championship. I keep saying United. The Unified Championship is like a pseudo world championship for them.
Yeah.
So,
or at least it's going to be booked like one. So that would be lit. So I mean, I'm always rooting for Takeshita. It's my guy, but I'm super excited for Saturday and that match. All right, let's keep it rolling. As we kind of hit the top of Collision here, it was a little close to there. But we had a promo from one timeless Toni Storm as she came out onto the stage in her spotlight. And after one of her colorful intros, she says that she's still the champ, but for how much longer, she does not know. She got her baby back 7 months ago and has lived every day since like it's her last, taking down beasts, belts collectors, and forever champions. AEW is where the best wrestle, and if you're not willing to put your life on the line every night, then you ain't shit. Now she faces 4 women worthy of taking the mantle, so if this is her final time as champ, she wants everyone to know it was the honor of a lifetime. But she's not just going to give up and offer some advice to her opponents. They want to beat her, they're going to need to burn her body to the ground, put her ashes in a pipe, and take a big fat puff because nobody will get you as high as she can. Jamie Hayter then steps into the spotlight and pulls the mic over to herself as Toni refuses to let it go and says that she's personally not a fan of the spotlight, so Toni can keep it. But after All Out, it's not going to look so good without the title.
That was a good line.
It was. Jamie says it's been a long time since it's been just the two of them, and it seems like Toni's forgotten a few things. So Jamie wants to remember these 3 things. 1, she doesn't forget. 2, Toni invited her into this match. And 3, Hayter hits hard. Chris Statlander then comes out and goes into the spotlight.
Hilarious.
And pulls the mic over to herself as both now Toni and Jamie refuse to let it go. And says that if they're all going to come out and make their claims for the title, then she doesn't really have one. She hasn't wrestled for the championship in 4 years. And as she looks at the current champ and a former champ, she's realizing that maybe she hasn't had that match because neither of them have had the ovaries to give it to her. So everyone best remember on Saturday that you can't stop Stat. Toni then brings the mic back to herself and says, well then, cheer up your bushes, bitches, because we're about to go all out and it's going to be cut off because Thekla's music then hits and she comes out for her match, which just super annoys Toni as the referee corps makes sure nobody gets into a fight heading into the match. So, James, I like this. The thing with the mic was funny, but I thought all 3 women did a great job here with their promos.
I thought it was great. I'm so intrigued by this matchup because I think ultimately Toni wins, even though this would be the safest but arguably the most rage-inducing way to take the title off Toni.
Yes.
I think this leads to, because I love the line from Hayter that it's been so long since it's been just one-on-one with us. I think this arguably leads to a one-on-one match between Hayter and Toni. And I'm beyond excited for that possibility. I'm beyond excited to see the outcome of what this is going to be. Crazy that it's been 4 years since Stat got a title shot.
Yeah, right?
Like, I get how we get there between her being injured at least once, if not twice. Between her having the TBS title for a while, and then between her getting like involved in the Willow nonsense and like everything with that. I get how we get to 4 years, but that feels disgusting. So that was nuts. And Toni's just so good. Like, she's out here calling herself all of these all of these words that I hesitate to repeat. And she does it in a way that, like, I don't know if you could see, like, she was smiling at some of the pop she was getting. because it's like she's saying this outrageous shit and it's happening.
I even actually skipped the part where after she mentioned taking out belt collectors and forever champions, she said that she loved every disgusting, sweaty, bloody, sexually charged moment of it. Yeah. And that got one of the biggest pops for the entire promo.
How could it not? Bless you, little cat. So yeah, I really had fun with this. This is a match that I think low key could steal the show with the performers involved. I think this is a dark horse for possible match of the night.
Yeah.
And yeah, really well done by these ladies here.
Yeah, this card is stacked.
Yes.
It seriously is.
And it's stacked without Kenny Omega. It's stacked without Swerve Strickland, and it's stacked without Will Ospreay.
Which is wild. But also,
God bless him. God bless him.
I saw some of you guys' comments about who's going to win on Saturday, so I'll get to that in a minute after we get through the match here. So stay right there. Hang on. As we go into Thekla versus Queen Aminata in a no-holds-barred match. And because this was technically the start of Collision, two things happened. One, Tony Schiavone showed up on commentary since, he's the Collision guy. And two, if you're watching on HBO Max, HBO decided that this had to be separate from the Dynamite portion broadcast. And you had to back out and go back in, which was super annoying and caused some people to miss parts of this match. Now, luckily, I was just smart and rewound it. But that's annoying, HBO. Just make it 1 3-hour thing. It's not that confusing.
So I'm going to go past that. I actually don't mind that it was separated. Bless you again. I don't mind that it was separated.
Just do it on commercial.
But, so that's what happened to me. I thought it was at a commercial. So I left the room for a second. I'm waiting to hear it back. And I'm like, wow, this is going on a while. Like, what commercial is this? Eventually I got to it. That was fine. I think it's silly that it doesn't, what is their live channel doesn't just immediately flow into the next live thing.
So they can do that because they do it if you're watching like an NBA broadcast or one of the hockey broadcasts, because you can't watch NBA on TNT anymore or be inside the NBA, they would go from the late game right into the post game inside the NBA, and it wouldn't make you leave the thing. But if you're going from the first game to the second game, you have to go back. So because it's not just a consistent stream of TBS or a consistent stream of TNT. Yeah. It's just for the one thing. And I think the reason they separate it out is because when they put up the episodes later,
there needs to be a Dynamite, there needs to be a Collision.
Yeah, and they don't have to have some poor editor edit it out.
Yeah.
And split them up and do it. So I get why it's just annoying.
Very much so. Very much so.
Anyway, to get into this match, Thekla came out in jeans and a t-shirt, and Aminata came out in her gear, which I thought was a funny visual. But anyway, after dodging a leg drop into a chair, Thekla was able to get up and hit a stomp onto the dazed Aminata into the stack of chairs and pin her for the win. So I know that was a very brief thing with the match, but not everyone saw all of it. And I was able to watch it because let me say something right now. These women kick the shit out of each other, which is another reason why I didn't take a lot of notes on it. It was stiff.
Yeah.
So a lot of big headshots with the trash can lid. A lot of great chair shots. So these women went absolutely after it. Kendo stick. So I think Aminata threw a kendo stick Thekla threw the kendo stick into the crowd at one point. Dude caught it on a fly. They didn't show it, but everyone popped and Schiavone turned around and noticed, holy shit, somebody caught that. So shout out to these two women. What an absolute bar murder. But after the match, Thekla grabbed the mic and started yelling at Toni Storm that she could stop looking for her end because her end is right here. Toni then came out and the two started brawling. And as they were doing so, Jamie Hayter came back out and she got up on the apron. But then Statlander came over and pulled her off the apron. And then the two of them started brawling on the outside. And that just led to a whole mess of things going on simultaneously. So in the ring, you had the Triangle Madness come out to help out Thekla. And they started beating Toni down. Meanwhile, Wheeler Yuta had come out and attempted to help Statlander, who had just thrown Jamie into the barricade, but she refused. And then Marina Shafir was there because she had followed Yuta and like got in between them and like almost started like walking Wheeler away. Like she wants him to stop doing this. So then Statlander flips the barricade and leaves. Yuta and Marina leave. So Hayter starts making her way around the ring where Toni had started fighting off the Triangle of Madness, and she was able to get a chair and chase them out of the ring. So the three of them were going back up the ramp, and as Toni was yelling at them, Hayter got into the ring and was lining up a Haterade. However, Toni turned around, and then Hayter took a couple of steps into it and then stopped. I don't know if this was because Toni saw her or she just hesitated for some reason. But either way, Toni started yelling at Jamie for not hitting her. Jamie was like, no, you can have the first shot. Go ahead, hit me. I dare you. And the two of them just started yelling about who was going to hit the other first until the referee corps came down and split them apart before they could do anything. So a lot of moving parts here to set up this four-way. But it was interesting to me that Statlander went after Jamie in that way because they were seemingly okay last week. Yeah. And you know, obviously the thing with Thekla and Toni makes sense. You have all the history there with Toni and Jamie, which is very interesting, although the end was kind of weird. But the interesting thing to the continuation of this Wheeler Yuta Chris Statlander thing, because it seems like Marina doesn't actually want him to recruit her. Yeah. Like, it really seems like she's like telling Wheeler to stop doing this, and he keeps doing it maybe on his own accord.
So I will say this goes past Wheeler because it's clear that Mox has an interest in her too.
I guess that's fair, but then why does it seem like Marina's pissed about it?
I mean, it could be one of two. Me? No, it could be one of two. I mean, it's Marina's face too. It could be one of two things. It could be that Mox feels like they put in all the effort there is. She either joins or she doesn't. Stop wasting time on it. Or it could be that Marina might feel threatened. Like her role could, she could, be jealous and worried about her spot. I will see how that progresses, but I don't care. I do something with Stat. Pull a trigger. Willow trigger. Death Rider trigger. It does. Who fucking cares?
Just do something.
I love Orange. I cannot wait for Orange. Without Trent and Chucky, who cares? It feels weird. So, and I don't mean that about Orange. Like, I'll take Orange by himself all the time or in the conglomeration or whatever. But a best friends reunion with Orange Cassidy, Wheeler Yuta, and Chris Statlander is missing the best friends.
That's true.
So
also, let us not forget the last time Stat and Orange interacted, she was helping Trent kick his ass.
Exactly.
So maybe we're way off base here.
And that goes deeper into like the Jamie Hayter, Toni Storm stuff. Because by all accounts, we should be rooting for Jamie Hayter to beat Toni Storm.
Yeah.
But it's been so long with injury, with everything, that now Tony's this mega baby face. And now we're kind of not booing, but like we're not really supporting Hayter in this conquest, which she was the one who was wronged in the first place.
Yep.
And now this shit with Stat's a worse case because of how they flip-flopped her.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. So I got a migraine.
You look like what's his name in basketball? Just, To get to some comments on all this going on here, Maria thinks that the Death Riders are going to help Statlander win the Women's Championship. And the reason I waited is because I wanted to go through the stuff with Wheeler and Marina because I really don't know what their plans are with Statlander.
Yeah, me neither.
I keep getting the mixed messages. And by they, I mean the Death Riders, but I guess overall as well, like, who knows what the plans are? So,
and this is good. It is compelling to not know.
Yeah, it's just should I get off the pot already?
Yes. God, yes.
Fernando believes that Toni is going to lose the title without getting pinned. And I think, James, to what you alluded to earlier, this wouldn't be a terrible way to get the title off of Toni. I know, it's probably not great. And I also feel like Toni is the type of person who probably wants to lose the title to somebody where it'll help get them over, and she will take the pinfall to do it. So maybe she wins this, but I just checked it. Her title reigns are 212 days. So, it wouldn't be like a short.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. It's not iconically long that, you need someone to pin her one-on-one to get the real rub out of it. But at the same time, it is Toni Storm who is the face of your division. You want to get a rub out of it. And I don't know that you do in a multi-person match. I don't know.
Yeah, it's difficult. And you know what's saying? There's not enough room for more tits, says Toni.
Jesus Christ.
I think there's going to be 8 in that match. Moving on. We just going to speed through a couple of things here. We had a backstage interview with Top Flight where they were very hyped about their match because they just joined Skyflight and they've been on a roll. They're going to become the new tag champs. And then this is the part of the show where Hangman and Paige came over, apologized for interrupting, and wanted to just let them know that the Don Callis family is probably going to interfere with their match. So they should watch their backs. And CD was like, thanks, dude. We're expecting it, but Skyflight's always got each other's back. So good for them. That led to JetSpeed taking on Kip Sabian and Killswitch to get a shot in the 4-way ladder match. So the end of the match, after Killswitch got on a roll, Kip demanded to be tagged in, and almost like Luchasaurus, Killswitch kind of refused, so Kip tabbed himself in by slapping Killswitch in the face. That led to Killswitch knocking Sabian's feet off the ropes when he had a roll-up pin attempt and had gotten to put his feet up there. And then when Kip went to tag out, Killswitch jumped off the apron and left Kip high and dry. So Kip then got frustrated and then got blindsided by a flying clothesline from Knight. And then Speedball followed it up with a time adventure for the win, and they get to go in the ladder match. Good move. These guys are going to rock in a ladder match.
It either needed to be JetSpeed or Top Flight.
Yes.
It needed to be one of those teams. And yeah.
And notably, Killswitch, as he left Mother Wayne and Kip Sabian in the ring, followed JetSpeed. Wasn't necessarily follow them, but he went into the face tunnel, or at least around the face side of the LED board. So is this the end of Killswitch with Mother Wayne and Kip Sabian? I would say so.
I would too, but I hope there's a little more bang to this. I hope it's not one of those things that did you lose me there for a second?
No, you're good.
Okay. I hope it's not one of those things that it's see ya. There needs to be some resolution. It shouldn't be, because you don't even have Nick Wayne involved in it.
That was exactly what I was going to bring up. Nick's not there.
Yeah.
And does he still trust Nick?
Yeah. So I think there is something interesting there. I think the bigger thing has been what's going on in BTE.
Yeah.
And the timing of everything. That I'm more inclined to actually agree. I think it was Fernando who said it, that the Bucks are winning this weekend. Because maybe it's not Cope and Christian right away going after the tag titles. Maybe it's a dinosaur and his boy that take on the Bucks for the tag titles.
His knife-making boy.
So,
I don't know. I mean, I know people have been speculating that they're going to come back together, but is Jack returning as a face?
I think you need to do something drastic with him at this point because nobody was buying the scapegoat, unfortunately. I thought it was a great gimmick.
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know if it's Jack's fault. I don't know if it's the crowd's fault. I don't know if it was that he was overshadowed by the rest of the elite. It wasn't clicking. I think it could have. It really didn't click all the way. Parts of it did, but not everything when it came to Jack. So this kid is too young and talented to just say, well, we tried, sorry, because of what happened with CM Punk, you're done.
Yeah.
He's too talented. So I would do whatever I can to rehabilitate him. I think enough time has passed. I hope that people are going to look at him with an open mind. And maybe bringing him back as a face is the way to do it. Because most people will agree. At least I would be on this boat too. I like him a lot. He's not ready to go for a world title. Not really. And I don't think he fits anywhere in the mid-card title stuff. So getting him reacquainted with the fans as a tag team guy once again, in a tag team that people loved, maybe that's it.
Yeah. Now, I think there has to be some sort of evolution of Jurassic Express.
Yes,
you can't go back to just straight up boy and his dinosaur.
Yeah, I agree. Jungle Boy should come out with Luchasaurus on his shoulders now. He's Jungle Man now.
Yeah. He's not even Jungle Boy anymore. He's just either Jack Perry or, occasionally just Jungle Jack, depending on what he's doing. But the reason I ask that is because if you are putting Luchasaurus / Killswitch back with him, you can't keep Luchasaurus heel right now.
I don't think we're past that. We're already clearly getting him out of heel territory.
Yeah. So trying to just continue to force that as people continue to chant Luchasaurus, it's just dumb.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, I mean, this match was good. It did what it needed to do. And I think the right people went here to get onto that ladder match. But I liked it. I think I ended up accidentally fast forwarding a little bit by mistake because I jumped the commercial and I think I went further than I meant to. So I might have missed some stuff, but I still liked it.
Do you start delayed?
No, you know what it was? I was pausing a lot to write down some of the promos and it just kind of,
that makes sense.
Jumping back. And because it was so long, some of it got, jumped by accident.
I tried doing the same thing. I tried timing the commercials sometimes, but because I'm watching live, it's like you're just stuck, you know?
You have to be all the way, however long you pause has to be longer than the commercials. And if you try to jump it to live too close to the commercial, it won't let you go through because it's you're skipping the commercials.
Yeah.
But if you do it 5 to 10 seconds beforehand, it'll let you jump through.
Yep.
Knowledge. All right. After this, we had a quick backstage promo from Big Bill. Bill says it's going to be him versus Eddie Kingston at All Out, according to the posters. But he won't believe until Eddie actually shows up. And he would blame Eddie for not wanting to cross into the border into this international embarrassment that is Canada. His words, not mine. But he also thinks Eddie won't show up because he is at home watching Bill. He's been at home watching Bill get in the best shape of his life and then going on the run of his life. So and he emphasizes if Eddie shows up on Saturday, then he's going to expose him for the fraud he is. And Bill then walks away and we get Brian Keith just going, fraud.
I have a theory, by the way. Okay. I have a theory here. This was what I said way before I was going to bring up when it came to the Darby Mox stuff and everything. This is where I want to jump in. My theory is Eddie, because we're all questioning, why would you announce Eddie's return ahead of time? Because that pop would be gigantic.
And also, why is it against Big Bill?
I think the Big Bill of it all is silly. I think there were other people this could have been and it would have been better. But I don't mind it because I think the point of it is they want Eddie to be back and him have his moments. He's going to have his moments. He's going to come back. He's going to beat Big Bill. He's going to look great. And it's going to be a big deal that he's back and he does it. I think he's going to get involved in the Mox Darby match too. And I don't think they wanted the return pop for Eddie to overshadow the moment of Darby beating Mox finally. So if you have Eddie already back, we have our moment. We think, oh man, how great is it that Eddie's back? All right, that was that. That was him. Have a great night, Eddie. And then he comes back only to get rid of the Death Riders. He drives away Wheeler. He drives away Garcia. He drives away Claudio.
Yeah.
And that allows Darby to get his win over Mox. So you get all of it without anybody stepping on each other. Like when Randy came back at Survivor Series and then at the end of the night, Punk comes back. Like, oh man, Randy's moment gets eaten up a little bit by Punk, but at least they announced to Randy ahead of time that he had that moment. And I think it's similar here.
It's possible. All I know is I'm just going to be going this entire match.
There's gonna be a lot of D's nuts, you know, redeemed nuts at this point.
Just a lot of New York. All right. After this, speaking of Darby Allin, we had his sit-down interview with one Bryan Danielson. I like that they used Bryan in this capacity. I thought it was cool.
And it served a story purpose.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
So Bryan started off asking Darby why he climbed Everest, and Darby said that he did it because he felt like he was living for someone else. Wrestling spits people, well, I think chews people up and spits them out. That's what I meant to write. And he wanted to just go out there and live life for himself. He said he also did it because he gave his word that he was going to get to the summit and plant the AEW flag there. You compare that to somebody like Moxley, who Bryan once considered family before Mox turned his back on him. Darby could never turn his back on someone he considers family, like Sting, for example, because he had given them his word. Bryan then asked Darby if he's ready for the coffin match, and Darby says he actually doesn't know. But whatever happens, he wants Bryan's word that Bryan won't get involved in the match no matter what. Darby tells Bryan he feels responsible about what happened to him at Wrestle Dream, and while Bryan says it's not his fault, Darby tells him it ended his career and he should have been there. So again, Darby wants Bryan's word he won't get involved, and Bryan gives it, but he wants a favor. Bryan then whispers something in Darby's ear, and then Darby jumps up, almost excited, and he's like, "You have my word," and he runs away and leaves. And then back on commentary,
I'm super intrigued.
Yeah, whatever it was, it really perked Darby up. And then back on commentary, Excalibur tried to ask Bryan what he said, and Danielson said it was between the two of them, and he wouldn't say anything. So this was a really cool interview. Darby kind of lost me there in the middle with the stuff about his uncle, and then him passing in the drunk driving accident with Darby in the car. But the rest of it I really liked, and again, I liked Bryan in this capacity. It's interesting watching him as somebody that everyone reveres, and as someone who also just stopped wrestling. Yeah, being on the other side of the glass, so to speak, in this instance.
I agree on all fronts. On the Bryan side of it, just happy to see him being used. Just Bryan, period. Bryan. On the Darby side of it, it was powerful. This was a little different than what we get from Darby. Typically, when we get Darby in anything that isn't him in the ring, it's either very cinematic or very explosive. This was more intimate. This was Darby very, I'd argue, vulnerable. This was a very emotionally vulnerable Darby. He talks about the fear of dying on the mountain. That he saw dead people on the mountain, and he was afraid that it would be him. He didn't want that to be him. He made a promise that he was going to do it. A promise, Mr. Frodo. And he's climbing a mountain. How could I not? And I really enjoyed this because Darby is, I think, very underrated in terms of character work. I think there are guys that you don't necessarily think of when it comes to character work, and I think Darby's one of them. But his is just so much more subtle.
It's a lot of physical stuff.
It is. But it's also he spoke about Sting, and look how cultivated that relationship was for years.
Yeah.
He spoke about the impact Bryan and what happened with Bryan had on him. That's you're creating a very multi-layered character here with Darby. And I think this was very well done.
Darby doesn't speak a lot, which is cool, and I think it works for his character. And a lot of what he says, a lot of his character development is from physical things, like him either getting the shit kicked out of him or kicking the shit out of somebody else or coming down from the rafters. And the other side of it a lot of times is his vignettes that are always really cool, where sometimes he speaks. I think the last one where he challenged Mox to the match at All Out, he had a voiceover for it, but a lot of it was him digging his finger into his bloodied ear and writing all that shit on the wall that eventually said All Out. So that's a lot of Darby's character work. And when he does do these sit-down interviews, which he does sometimes, it allows to see that side of Darby, like an emotional side of him. You don't, and not even like an emotional side, but like the calmer emotional side and depth of him, as opposed to just him being this like seemingly crazed lunatic with a death wish.
Yeah.
And it always ends up lending a lot of depth to his character that is good to get a refresher on every once in a while.
No, I think you nailed it there.
Thank you. All right, our next match saw Riho face off against Robyn Renegade. We had Mercedes Moné on commentary. To jump to the end, following a counter dragon suplex, Riho was able to climb up onto Renegade's shoulders, and she had a crucifix bomb, and that kept Renegade down for the 3, as Riho just stared daggers into Mercedes while she was pinning Renegade there. And then after the bell, Riho got out, continuing to stare down Monet, and then Renegade grabbed Rio's leg, and that distraction allowed Mercedes to run in to the ring and hit Riho with a backstabber, leaving her lying as the champ was posing over her. So this is very quick recap, but it was a very quick match, James. It was good, but fast. And it was more of just, well, I don't want to say we got to get them on the story on the card, but it was the way to, I guess, give Riho a singles match before, her match on Saturday, because I'm not sure she has had one since she's been back.
Yeah.
And, just a way to be like, hey guys, here's what's coming for Saturday as well. So it was quick, but it did its show.
No, I agree. And sometimes that's all you really need. Like, Riho is as popular as she is. You don't really need to do a lot to sell her on getting this match with Mercedes. People are just excited that it's happening. And whether
I'm hyped.
Yeah, likewise. Whether she wins or loses, it's cool. I'm just happy it's happening.
Yeah, I'm thrilled she's back.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and I hope it's she's back. I hope she doesn't disappear again if she loses. And I'm understanding of the circumstances. You're back. We got to get through this.
No, it's all right. It's not gonna do anything.
But yeah, well done, Robyn Renegade, young talent. Hope to see more of her. And maybe there's something there with her and Mercedes that could be cultivated and grown and developed. Time will tell on that one. And I'm going to throw out something random that feels like way out of left field, but we saw Wardlow come back, granted gone already, but we saw him come back at Forbidden Door. And we know what was holding him off was American Gladiator.
Yep.
I wonder if his co-star is now free to maybe come back. Camille. And maybe that gets set up on Saturday.
Be interesting. Yeah, I mean, she left Mercedes, so I would imagine that would be her next challenger then.
Yeah.
So it could be cool. But all I know is tried and true formula, Mercedes plus Joshi equals banger.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
Should be fun. Also, for the first time, maybe ever, Mercedes has the size advantage. So it's going to be very interesting to see how she wrestles this one, because it's definitely going to have to be different. But so that makes it very intriguing. But I'm hyped for it. I'm very hyped for it.
Me too.
Also, I wanted a quick shout out for the on this match too. The thing in the beginning, I think it was the beginning, where Robyn had the hands up and trying to do the test of strength, and couldn't reach. That was pretty funny. Good spot from her there.
That it was.
After that, we had a quick recap of Jerry Lynn getting the Acclaim back together last week on Collision. Wonder where that's going to go. That seems interesting. Then we came back from commercial with a promo package for Daniel Garcia versus Kazuchika Shibata, which is going to happen at the tailgate thing on Saturday, which I think is serving as the pre-show. It's just they're doing it free.
I think so too, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, it's from 2 to 3, I'm pretty sure. So it's
I
think it's just doing the pre-show on linear TV, which is kind of cool and smart, as opposed to just having it on YouTube or getting it with the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So you had Joe and the Ops and the Death Riders all in that and whatever. And then we had our main event. We saw Top Flight take on Josh Alexander and Hechicero. We kind of did the after the match stuff, so we'll go through the match quick, where at the end, Alexander took out a flying Darius with a vicious elbow as he came through the ropes for a suicida.
Yeah, that was good.
Like another, you got knocked the fuck out. And he just left him lying on the outside. And after he did that, Dante was in the ring and he grabbed Dante's feet as he hit the ropes. That allowed for Hechicero to take a swing at Dante. However, Dante was able to duck it, and he went back to the ropes on the other side, rebounding through and hitting Alexander with a tope suicida of his own. Dante then got back up on the apron. Hechicero went after him. Dante ducked the shot and hit a kick, and then that knocked Hechicero into the middle of the ring where he grabbed the referee as Dante climbed to the top. But because Hechicero was distracting the ref, Alexander was able to come over, and he pushed Dante off the top ropes. And Hechicero came over, quickly taking advantage, hitting a guillotine, which was, I didn't know that's what that thing was called. It was awesome. It was like a leg DDT.
Yeah.
And this kills the Dante, and the Don Callis family was able to
1, 2, 3
advance into the ladder four-way match for the AEW tag titles. So this was cool. I understand why I was main eventing because you had to set up the thing with Fletcher. So I'm cool with it. This was a good match. It's nice to see Top Flight. They're pairing now with CD and Scorpio Sky is pretty cool, even though I haven't seen much of it. Just because I'm very hit or miss on watching collisions. I try.
It's Saturdays. It's tough.
I've been trying to watch like Monday or Tuesday, mostly Tuesday because Monday Night Football is back. But it's definitely an interesting group, and I was excited to see them, get them out there on TV and do a good job against two seasoned pros.
Yeah, no, this was a fun match, clashing styles in a way. Josh isn't like a high flyer, but he's not afraid to throw himself from time to time. And Hechicero, he's like a Swiss Army knife. I don't know how to describe his style.
He's a warlock. It's literally what it translates to.
Anyway, what does a warlock wrestle like?
Yeah. He's just because he's like magical in the his ability to be able to do so many things.
Anywho, you're not wrong, but you're not right.
Yo soy Hechicero.
Fun matchup, and it served its purpose of really just getting us to the final segment of the night.
Yeah. So, and then obviously we had that big brawl, and Kyle put Hangman through the table, and that was whatever this thing was called, September to
Dynillusion.
Yeah, Dynillusion. I have overall thoughts on Dynamite on the bottom. I'm not changing it because I'm exhausted, and it's 2:00 in the morning. So, James, this was a lot of fun. It was long. It was exhausting, but I had a great time watching all of this stuff tonight, and especially coming off of last week, which was a kick-ass Dynamite. So we always say 2 weeks before the pay-per-view is usually the best Dynamite. They went 3 straight hours on this go-home show, and every bit of it rocked.
Killed it. Cannot wait for this weekend. There's going to be a lot of wrestling on Saturday, but it's going to be fun. And they did a really great job of getting me even more pumped for a show I was already pumped for.
Yeah, you have fun with that.
Thanks, buddy.
But yeah, I thought this was great. I'm very excited to watch All Out whenever. I'm probably going to end up watching it Sunday or at some point. I don't know. I'll watch it though, and I'm very excited to watch it. So, and like you said, this just made me more excited because there was such good wrestling tonight. That Lucha match was great. The meat match was great. Like I think all the tag team matches were very good. To great. So just feed me more. Terrible wrestling phrasing, but God, Saturday is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And on that note, because we're very tired, I would like to thank you all for watching us here at the Market Down Podcast. Actually, before we get out of here, I did want to, I bring a good point. The Robyn Renegade's been around for a while. She actually outlasted Dark.
That's nuts.
Good point.
That's nuts.
And on that note, I would like to thank you all for watching us here at the Market Down Podcast. We appreciate it if you like to subscribe. If you like the video, let us know that you're enjoying what we're doing here on the show, and we will continue to do more of it. And if you subscribe, you continue to get all the great stuff here on the channel. You got the Gym Pack Zone tomorrow with James for you TNA fans. We will be covering All Out on Saturday, and I believe we will also be covering WrestlePalooza if we can. It's going to get a little complicated.
We're going to. It's It's going to be a long day, guys.
Yep.
Dash is most likely joining us or joining me for WrestlePalooza. Don't know who's joining me for All Out, but you got me at the very least for All Out.
Drag Chad out of mothballs. He said he was coming back.
Fucking A.
So yeah, big days of pay-per-view on Saturday, so be sure to subscribe so you can watch us cover all that stuff. And then we will be back here again for Dynamite next Wednesday. And we've been sprinkling in some Raws and some SmackDowns when things really pick up over there. So be sure to subscribe for all that. If you want to check us out on any of our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Blue Sky, you're here on YouTube. You can check out those links in the description below. Otherwise, if you're watching us over on Facebook or on Twitter, you can follow us on Twitter at marketdown_pod. Instagram is at marketdownpod. YouTube.com/marketdown3665. Marketdownpod.bsky.social if you're over on Blue Sky with the rest of us libs, or just search Marketdown Podcast. That's what it is over there. You could just search Marketdown Podcast on any of your social media platforms, and we will come up. I think we're getting really tired and delirious here, but James, any last comments before we get out of here?
I'll see you guys tomorrow for Gympact. It's going to be, I've been back on it. And yeah, guys, just have a good night. Stay safe out there. The world's crazy, but we like to have fun here and provide a safe, fun space in the squared circle.
Yeah, appreciate everyone in the comments tonight. You know it, Maria, Fernando, Tyler, thank you all for joining us. And thank you, everyone else, for joining us. So for James Chauncey, my name is Nick Cummings. Thank you again, and have a good one, everyone. Go to bed. It's 2 a.m.